Hi guys, I'm Madison Mary and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my August TBR. So for August, what I'm doing is this little thing called ARC August. If you don't know what an ARC is, ARCs are advanced readers copies that bloggers, librarians, people in just a bookish community can get from publishers. And what happens is that you get these books prior to when they're actually published to review them pretty much. So I got a bunch of ARCs when I was at BEA. I've also gotten ARCs from publishers themselves that I have requested. And so pretty much what I'm gonna do is, because the later half of the year, September, October, things like that, have a lot of ARCs and a lot of new releases, August is a great month to kind of get ahead on all those ARCs. A lot of these books today are pretty much all buddy reads with Katy over at Katy's Book Nook. If you don't know her, you should, but we pretty much buddy read a lot of books together, and the way that we buddy read is either we read the book at the same time, but more often than not, one of us reads ahead and finishes the book, and then the other person kind of just squeals about it afterwards, so it's super fun. But I'm gonna start off with the two books that aren't ARCs. The first book is going to be Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Titan's Curse. This is book 3 of the PJO series, and this book is one that I really love, but also I think is the saddest out of the 5, because this one has to do with Nico and Bianca, and tears fall. But yes, I'm part of the Reading Read and Book Club, which is hosted by Heather. But the biggest thing that I really love about rereading the series currently is that Leigh from the Little Readers Corner and I, for the last book, we actually FaceTimed during the last 20 pages and like read it with each other and just talked about it. And it's just really fun going back to these books that I haven't read for years and just revisiting the series, because I love it and it's just one of my favorites, honestly, as a child. So that is one. And then the other book I'm going to be reading is Feast of Sparks by Simone. And this is the second book in the Thorn Chapel series. And oh my god, if you do not know my love for the Thorn Chapel series by now, I read Lesson of Thorns last month and oh my god, it was delicious. It's pretty much this massive polyamorous smut book. It also has a mild mystery undertone to it, and all 6 of the main characters are all bi, and they kind of, you know, you get male-male romances in this, female-female romances, male-male female romances. It's just all delicious and I love it. I'm so excited for the second one, and just look at Saint on the cover. Oh my god. Saint Sebastian can get it, guys. Those are the 2 books that I'm reading that are already out. Now, let's start on my ARCs. I'm going to be going in release date order. So the first ARC I'm going to be reading is Beasts of the Frozen Sun by Jill Criswell. This is so pretty. This is about Lyra, and she is God-gifted in her clan. Her gift is that if she touches a person, she can read their soul. And what happens is that there's this person, Riker, who washes up ashore, and she discovers him, and when she touches his hand, she knows that he's a good person, that he's telling her the truth, but he's actually from the enemy clan, and he's being deserted by them. And so there's kind of this forbidden romance that starts between them, because they're from 2 battling clans, and thing is that kind of have to come together to defeat this overarching evil. So if that doesn't sound cool, I don't know it will. And this comes out on August 6th. Next we have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, and oh my god, so many amazing things I've been hearing about this book. I was at Epic Reads Day, so I got to go to Epic Reads HQ here in New York City and kind of see their offices and have a whole talk with a bunch of different authors, and one of them was Shelby, and all the people at Epic Reads said that they absolutely love this book. So this is Shelby's debut, comes out on September 3rd. So it's based off of a French folklore, Les Dames Blanches, and we follow Louise LeBlanc, who fled her coven 2 years ago and has been living in secret. She kind of gave up her magic so that she doesn't get hunted or killed. But what happens is there's another character, we have Reed, and he is a witch hunter who has pledged his allegiance to the church, and from some unforeseen events, Louise and Reed end up being engaged, like being forced into matrimony, which is an issue because she's a witch and he's a witch hunter. That's kind of all I really know about it. I know that there's like some crazy stuff that goes on, and Shelby's currently working on the sequel. It's a duology as of now, and I just love witchy stuff, and this cover is also just like, oh, The next book also comes out on September 3rd, and that is There Will Come a Darkness by Katy Rose Poole. I was so lucky to get a copy of this from Chelsea over at Chelsea Darling Reads because I love her and she loves me. I'm so excited to be reading this. It is a bit of a chunker, but it's such an interesting story. So what happened is 100 years earlier, the prophets just disappeared from this land. But before the prophets disappeared, they left one final prophecy saying that a new prophet, the last prophet, will be born, and that this prophet will either be their savior or the kingdom's like damnation now that they're in like this age of darkness. And so it's about these 5 characters, 5 POVs, and how their souls are kind of all intertwined on this journey and how they're all a part of this prophecy. And the question is like, which of these 5 is the potential prophet and what's going to happen at this land? And the 5 characters are a prince exiled from his kingdom, a ruthless killer known as the Pale Hand, a once faithful leader torn between his duty and his heart, a reckless gambler with the power to find anything or anyone, and a dying girl on the verge of giving up. So excited. And the pre-order incentive for this is really cool because you get the tarot card of each of the 5 main characters, which is awesome. I'm also doing a buddy read of this with Katy. I'm also technically also buddy reading Feast of Sparks with her. The other book that also comes out on September 3rd is Well Met by DeLuca. Really excited for this. Also buddy reading with Katy. Tentatively also ሶᴍᴜ if she gets approved for the e-arc of it, because the premise of this book is literally ソᴍᴜ in a nutshell, honestly. Like, it's ridiculous. So it's about Emily, and she ends up moving back home to help look after her family. And what happens is one day she gets roped in with her niece to volunteer at the Renaissance Fair. And we also follow Simon, whose family legacy is the Renaissance Fair, and the two of them are kind of butting heads, and it's basically a Ren Fair romance with very light smut in it. And oh my god, I'm so excited to read a Ren Fair romance. And Ren Fairs are ソᴍᴜ's favorite thing, so I'm pumped. Moving on from September 3rd, on September 10th, we have A Treason of Thorns by Laura E. Weymouth. This book I have been so excited to read because the cover captured my attention instantly. It's what really drew me into this book, and then I read the premise and I was like, ooh, sounds spicy. I'm a little bit interested because I feel like it's going to take a lot more of a darker turn than I originally thought. So the story is about a girl named Violet, and she lives at the Burleigh house, and the Burleigh house is kind of this magical place that is controlled by the king. Violet's father ends up committing high treason against the king to kind of free the Burleigh house from his control, and as a result, Violet has to go into hiding. 7 years later, she has an opportunity to return back to the Burleigh house, and when she gets there, it's kind of being overrun by magic, and there's deadly things kind of lurking around, and so she's kind of trying to find a way to save the house from this magical demise, but at the same time, she's kind of getting pulled into this dark magic. So it says on the back, a house left unchecked will lead to ruin, but I will not let it ruin me. Laura also has trigger warnings on her website, and the trigger warnings for this are anxiety, gaslighting, mental abuse, and physical abuse. The physical abuse though is not graphic apparently, and there is also mild body horror. So we'll see. So also on September 10th, we have Gideon the Ninth, and my copy is signed from being at BA. I was also sent a copy from the publishers, so this is definitely like high on my priority list to read this month. Basically, in this place, the emperor is in need of a necromancer, and the necromancer is in need of a swordswoman, and the swordswoman just happens to be Gideon. And apparently Gideon is actually a reanimated corpse, and Gideon's just very crass and just rude, and there's a budding female-female romance between Gideon and the ninth necromancer, whose name is Harrow, and that's kind of all I really know about it, honestly. So it sounds pretty great, guys. Next up, we're moving into October, and my October read this month is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I'm buddy reading this with Mel from Mel to the Annie and Jess from Tundra Tomes. I know that there has been a lot of buzz and tea lately following content warnings in books. Mainly, a lot of it has been surrounding Ninth House because people are starting to kind of get to reading it now. I know that people have mentioned that the content warnings in this, it comes from the fact that a lot of people know Leigh Bardugo as being a YA author, and this is an adult novel through and through. It's not meant for young children. It's not meant for people it delves into deep and dark topics, and that's not meant to be taken lightly. I know that this has to do a lot with rape because that is something that's very personal to Leigh Bardugo, and it's something that's very prominent in this. There is drug abuse, there is assault, there's a lot of gore and horror and crime, there is defecation stuff going on in here. Apparently there's child rape. There's a lot in this. Also suicide and self-harm. Like there's just a lot, and it's just something that people need to be aware of before going into it. Regardless, what this is about, Alex, our main character, she is the sole survivor of this mass homicide, and as the sole survivor, while she's in the hospital, these people come to her and they offer her a full ride to Yale to be a freshman there. The only catch is that while she is at Yale, she has to investigate the secret societies there, and of course she accepts. And while she's at Yale, she's in these secret societies who are kind of deadly occult people, and it's just lands her in very sinister activities, and that's kind of the main premise that I'm aware of. But I'm really excited to get to this, and I don't know, we'll see what I think of it. I definitely know that I can be sensitive to certain triggers, but I don't think this is going to be a bit of an issue. There's only been like one book I've ever had to DNF for triggers, so high hopes. The last book to mention today is going to be Mooncakes. I'm so excited. This comes out on October 15th, and Mooncakes is by Wendy and Suzanne Walker. I also met them at BEA, and look how cute this is. They drew a cat on the inside. Mooncakes is about Nova Hung, and she is a teen witch who comes back in contact with her childhood crush, who turns out to now be a werewolf. There are these deadly forces that are trying to exterminate werewolves, and so they enlist Nova to help them in dealing with these deadly forces, and apparently it's really cute and sweet, and I'm excited. But that altogether, this massive kerfuffle of books is my August TBR. Really hoping I can get through all of these. I really want to. I have high expectations for all of these. I don't see anything on this list being less than a 4-star, and so I'm really excited to see how this entire month goes. I do plan to vlog more this month. I took a week off at the moment just because a lot has been going on. And yes, let me know if you guys are reading any of the same books. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, thanks a bunch guys. Bye!